everybody. Welcome along to the latest edition of Kiddy and Massive Everywhere We Go, a Kidderminster Harriers fans podcast with me, Nick Hatton. Delighted to say we have got Harriers' very own Benjamin Button with us this evening. David Davis, hello, how are you?
Yeah, I'm very good, thank you. Very good at the minute. Feeling good, feeling fit. Yeah, pre-season's going good so far. So, yeah, in good spirits.
Good. How are the legs?
You know what? I said a couple of months ago, I felt like Benjamin Button.
Yeah.
If you asked me that first week, I said I was lying to you. But now, a couple of weeks into it, 3 weeks into it, I'm seeing the benefits of it. It's probably the one of the fittest I've been in many years. So, yeah, I feel like I'm in a good place at the minute.
Yeah. I was going to say pre-season's all the same, or is this one under Paul different to what you've had with Adam and Phil previously?
Now they've varied quite a bit, especially over the years. Like this one seems a bit more, no, I'm not going to say old school, but there's been a lot more running, but structured running.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like it's running that suits me. So a lot of the runs we've done a bit longer distance, bit shorter distance, um, but it's tailored. I think it suited me a lot.
Mm.
So yeah, I feel in a good place at the minute.
Are you one of these people that sort of relishes the running? Do you hate the running, or you just see it as something you've got to do?
Now, no one looks forward to the running. I'll be honest. I'll be honest. And I think we're in an era now where you do your pre-season. So like you have a couple of weeks off and then you'll do a little bit of
Yeah.
running, stuff like that. And it's false really because you think you're in a good place. Then you get that first day and you're like, Jesus Christ, this is hard. So yeah, it never gets any easier. But I think after about a week, your body just gets used to it. And
Yeah.
I suppose it's one of them ones you go out for a double session, you're like, you know what? I've got to get on with it. There's nothing I can do. I
Yeah.
can't stop. So you just got to get on with it, mate.
Yeah. We've all seen the pictures from that first day of all the players just on their back or on
Yeah.
their front, trying not to vomit, isn't it? That's basically every pre-season across the land, I think.
Yeah, I think that was the first 2 weeks, mate. I think that was if they would have had a cameraman every 2 weeks, mate, over that 2 weeks, sorry, it would have been the same picture every day, afternoon, morning. But it's put us in good stead. So we can't grumble. We've done the hard yards. So now it's we're all in a good place and we've got plenty more games before the end start of the season.
Yeah, we'll talk about what's to come then a little bit later on. First question on this podcast, whoever it is, however long you've been with the club, associated with the club, is always the same, and that is what does Kidderminster Harriers mean to you?
Oh, good question. Um, for me, Kidderminster means it feels like home. Since the day that I've come here, um, regardless what manager's been here, I feel like the fans have took to me maybe because I try and wear my heart on my sleeve, try and put my all in for the club. And I feel like, especially after the first year, we, as a group of players, the ones that stayed last year, felt like we let the club down
Hmm.
in terms of obviously the last game of the season and then going into the playoffs probably on a low because of not winning that final game of the season. So for me, I felt like I owed the club something and to be able to repay them last year, that feeling, it's one of the best feelings I've had in football. It doesn't matter what level you're at. When you are able to set out what you achieve at the start of a season, it's very fulfilling. And I think in the manner that we did it, going into we didn't have the greatest of starts to the season, but the team spirit and the togetherness of the fans, they really stuck with us. There was some hard times in the
Yeah,
beginning with obviously some of the fans didn't get along so much with the gaffer, but you sort of have to block that out. But also we can see what the gaffer brings in a sense, and listen, it all tied together in the end. But the fans stuck with us, and that's massive for me. I think when the fans turn out in numbers, it can't be underestimated, especially to us players. Like it's a massive thing. So for me, the club's been a real unbelievable place for me and my family, and it's got to a point where I just want to repay the club as much as I can.
we'll talk about last season in a bit. Let's go back to when you sort of first arrived. So June 2024,
Yeah.
you were on trial, weren't you? I think at that point, were you? Or was it already agreed that
Yeah.
you were going to arrive? I
Well,
can't remember.
to be honest, I spoke with Morgs and he was like, "Do you want to come and train?" I wasn't doing anything at the time. So I was like, "Yeah, I'll come in." Came in on it was just to keep fit because I was going to go to the PF, it was the first year the PFA launched
Yeah.
their pre-season.
Mm.
So I was going to go there. Um, and it was due to start the week after. So I came in on the Monday, trained, trained again on the Tuesday, and then Phil Brown came to me on the Wednesday, said, "We'd love to sign you." So I was a bit like, "Whoa, taken back a bit." So nothing was discussed in terms of something like that. And I literally came back to my partner and was like, "Listen, the lads seem good here. It's a good club, massive club, it's down the road for us. What do you think?" She's like, "Yeah, go for it." If you and usually I'll like not wait something out, but I'll think about it. But with Kiddy, it just seemed like yeah, it worked, it fitted. Especially with like when my kids go to school, and obviously not towards Kidderminster, but it's I can still drop them to school, get to Kiddy, and it just fit, and it just felt like yeah, this is the right. It's not always you will get the right intuition about a club, and I just felt like I did with Kiddy, so it all fell into place really.
Yeah, what are you looking for then when you're sort of looking to join a club at the st your stage of the career? Because I'd got written down, I was going to ask you about whether the sort of the level of the hunger is still there, because you do get some players who have had the career that
Yeah,
you've had who are quite happy to just, you know, what's the word, go through the motions and collect a paycheck.
yeah. I think for me, and it's still the same now. I think they may be coming through with someone like Mick McCarthy and Terry Connor. They instill um, beliefs and traits that you carry with you throughout your career. So no matter what level I play at the minute, I feel like the basics for me are work hard. It's been a massive thing throughout my career for me personally. So a big thing for me is working hard and giving my all. So that will never leave me regardless what level I play at. I think especially when it comes to the games, you always got that competitive edge. And I think once that leaves me, that's when I'll stop playing. But I
Mm.
can't see that leaving me. So it'd be more a case of probably when my legs tell me otherwise. But as it stands at the minute, I think I've still got that hunger and desire. And I think last year, with that success, doesn't matter what level you're at, success is success. So it makes you even hungry for more. And I think when we've gone to a new level now. So listen, we're not naive. It's going to be a tough job this year, but if we get a great place finish in the league, that will be another success for the
Yeah.
club because it will be maintaining our status in the National League. So those little successes are still driving me on at the minute.
That first season then under Phil Brown, we don't have a huge amount of time, so we won't talk about the Southport part of things now. But if you would sort of to
Yeah.
sum up the season, what were the standouts from what was a kind of a really entertaining campaign? Ups and downs. There was fallouts. There was managers kicking off and all sorts good going on. But what are the standouts between you signing and up to the Southport game for you?
Uh, we had a frightening front three, a lethal front three, and I think us guys behind it just solidified things so much. We had a consistent team, more or less, throughout the year. Obviously, when Summers got injured as well, that was a big blow for us. It probably changed the way we played in a sense because he liked to get the ball down, get us playing in a different sense. But I think obviously with the injury to him, then Riley came in, and obviously Riley's probably a different player to
Yeah.
Summers, but he was still learning his trade at that point. But what he did bring was quality and energy. And I think we just became a team that was really hard to beat, but also fitter than everyone else.
Yeah.
But also we had a front three that was a scandal, really. So I think they had 90 goal contributions between the three of them, assists and goals. And if you've got two strikers that can do that, but we had a front three that contributed. And I think the big thing for us, we managed to go on big runs.
Mm.
And I think in these leagues, when you want to go for promotion and be at the higher end of the table, you've got to go on big runs and put big runs together. And I think we did that. There was a bit of chaos with some of the games, which you're going to have. You're never going to win every game. But I think some of the losses that we did sustain, there were big shocks and big wake-up calls for us.
Yeah.
But sometimes you need that. Sometimes you need a punch in the face. Because like you say, you can get complacent and lax. And sometimes as a team, sometimes you go into games thinking it's just going to happen. And you have to have that realism that you have to earn every point that you go into the pitch for. So yeah, from that first year, a frightening front three, I'd say.
Mhm. That was that your first season at that level?
Yeah, yeah.
How did you find it? What were the big sort of
Surprised,
yeah.
massively surprised. I think the first day I walked in, like I say, when I came to train on that Monday, I was like, wow. And I think it's probably a bad thing in a sense because people probably, until you play at these levels, what I've realized is a lot of players play at this level, not because they haven't got the ability, they've got the ability, but it's the consistency. They
Yeah,
aren't able to replicate it every week. They're very up and down, up and down. And obviously the better players with the ability end up going higher. Like you see this year with Joe Folks, Meeks, a few others like have gone on to play at a higher level because they consistently can
yeah,
do it every week. It's not so much the ability. But yeah, I was very shocked. But in a good way, in a sense as well, because I was like, wow, yeah, I could see myself helping others here and trying to give my experiences and be positive in a different way.
yeah. Does that almost help you as well because you realize you've got a fight on your hands if you like if you were strolling around every week? I wonder whether that sort of motivation and hunger would be there.
Yeah, especially in the beginning as well. I didn't start the first two games of the season. It's not, and I think I wasn't shocked by it, but also I was like, I was enjoying being back in football, but at the same time, it's like it's never been my thing to just turn up and not play on a Saturday. I train all week to play on a Saturday. So you have to be competitive throughout the week. And I'm like, right, how do I get back in this team? But I'm also not one of these people that will just sit there and accept being on the bench. Like I'm here to play football, regard until I hang my boots up. I'm here to play football. Whether that's the input I can do on the pitch, off the pitch. I'm first and foremost, I'm going to be competitive every week. So yeah, it's a bit of like you say, a shock to the system, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, there's very, very good players at this level, and they just need some of them just need the belief and a chance taken on them. It's easy for me to say, yeah, this player needs a chance and rare, 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 but also they need someone to take a gamble on them and need to be in the right environment.
So we have that roller coaster season, brilliant from an attacking point of view. We had that Hereford 5-1 win, and everyone was getting ready to celebrate the title on the final day. I spoke to Riley Reynolds a few weeks ago, and he was talking about how invincible the squad felt to a degree, but he didn't spot any signs of complacency as to what was to come. So, how much of a shock was that Southport loss to you, given what had gone on the 30 odd weeks beforehand, and maybe even the week before that?
Yeah, I think just leading up to that game, it just felt, I don't know, I felt, especially after the game, I felt like we did feel invincible, especially that Hereford game. Um, but what I will say is this year, I know we'll speak about this year later, but it just felt different this year.
Yeah,
Whereas last year, it felt like I know we're in an unbelievable place, but going into that last game, I felt like we just thought it was going to happen. Like you do most weeks as you go into games, but it didn't feel quite right.
was that
In
because something was different? Because you stayed overnight, didn't you? Which I don't think you would have done normally in a
Yeah,
normal. And you think you trained somewhere else, didn't you? And I remember it was flagged to me about Phil Brown saying, "Oh yeah, we've invited Malik and other loanees to come along to the
yeah,
game," which to me was like, "Well, you feel like you've won it already."
yeah, kind of. But I think as well that yeah, you want a lot of the lads to be there, but end of the day, get the job done,
Yeah,
and then you can make your arrangements and whatnot. But for me, looking back at the game, and I think it's good to reflect on things like that leading up to the game. I think we just thought it was a formality, and that's from my experience of how I've seen things pan out throughout the years, regardless whether you're going for a title or
yeah,
not. And we probably just lacked that experience of being in that pressurized situation. I
yeah.
think not many lads before had been in that situation, so it was a first for them, but also a great learning curve. Um, but yeah, I think looking back at it, when you reflect on how things went that week and in the game, after the game, it just felt like it was going to be a formality, and we didn't earn the right that day,
Mm. How
so we
early
didn't
into that?
deserve it.
Yeah, how early into that game did you feel it was not going to be the day?
I think after we probably missed two good chances in the beginning, and I think when your main man Dave Worrell's not quite at it, and he
Yeah.
was Mr. Consistent for the last 2 months. He wasn't quite at it, and a few others quite weren't at it, and you're like, not sure this is going to be our day.
Mm.
And you realise that it's a bit of a frustrating one. But at the same time, you have to earn the right every game. That's the bottom line. Whatever game you start, no matter what opposition, doesn't matter whether their season finished or not, they're still playing for their contracts as well, still playing for their futures,
Yeah.
whether it be at a different club. So you have to just stay level-headed, and that was a big thing we took into this year. The lads that were there last year, so that was a big thing for us.
Did it feel like the Chester game was a foregone conclusion as well? Very often when sides lose titles on the final day, that they're never really successful in the playoffs, are they?
Well, yeah, a lot of people say that, to be fair. And I think without knowing, you probably do lose a bit of momentum and a bit of confidence
Yeah,
because subconsciously you're planning for the season to be done and you're planning your celebrations.
yeah,
Yes, you've got another job to do, but it's a bit of a kick in the teeth when we were probably the best team that year. Um, End of the day, Brackley won it, so they statistically were the best team.
yeah.
But if you're looking at attacking wise, sort of solidity, we beat all the teams in and around us. But end of the day, you can only play what's in front of you. So yeah, looking back at it, uh, I don't think we were in the right space even in that Chester game.
And then what, 3 days later, Phil Brown gets the boot as well.
Yeah.
Were you surprised at that? I think speaking to Riley, he sort of said there were maybe a couple of whispers here and there that things weren't quite as rosy as they might have seemed from the outside looking in.
To be fair, it was a bit of a surprise for me,
Yeah.
I'd obviously had a conversation with him on the Monday or Tuesday. I think it might have been the Monday. And obviously he was relieved of his duties the next day, but I weren't too sure of it. Obviously, during the season, you hear sniffs, and
Mm,
I think a couple of results he was saying he weren't quite sure whether he wanted to stay.
yeah.
Um, but during the end of the season, now I didn't have a pretty much of an inkling. Um, Maybe that's not paying attention, but you're disappointed from the season.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you're reflecting in your own performance and your own kind of what's happened. You haven't really processed that yet. So I think you're a bit oblivious to some things that are going around. That's from my perspective anyway.
And then obviously, so he gets the boot, and then all of a sudden, Adam Murray comes in, and is he someone that you knew much about? Had you had experience of him before?
Nah, none. I just knew him as the Instagram guy that would pop up. And to be fair, I don't know if it was my algorithm, but a couple of months before that he'd actually joined, I remember seeing a few bits on that. And then when he joined, I was like, oh, that's the guy. And obviously I had a meeting with him, but now I wasn't too familiar with him. Knew a few people that knew him in Birmingham. So I'd asked a little bit about him, what he's like. But now I didn't know nothing about him.
Yeah, and I can't remember. Had you signed for the new season before he'd arrived? I can't remember, or was it after?
Yes, I had, yeah.
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 So I mean, what did you those sort of initial conversations with him? What did he say to you to sort of, I don't know, give you the confidence that you were wanted? Because sort of the timeline of it could have been which we saw with Hemo, I suppose. Hemo sort of signed, and then
Yeah.
Adam comes in, and then Hemo's off. That could have potentially happened to you.
Yeah, yeah. To be fair, we had a meeting with him when he got announced as a group, and he just said, "Look, come back in pre-season. You're gonna be a big player for us, on and off it, and just it's like anyone. I think regardless of what career I've had, you still have to earn the right to play.
Yeah.
You got to come back in good shape. All these boys are chomping at the bit. There's only 11 shirts, so I think the big thing for me was just coming back in shape and going again. Um, and yeah, we had a good pre-season under him, and it was yeah, a good season.
Yeah, and you say signing on, was that you said about basically you felt like you owed the fans. There was that huge disappointment just hanging over everybody, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Was that you sort of your how can I put this? Your decision just to pay the fans back, I suppose.
yeah. I think that was the first thing on my mind, to be honest. As soon as I knew the club wanted to obviously speak about a new deal, I didn't speak to any other club that summer.
Yeah.
That was the first thing I was like, all right, let's get it done. And I think it was done within about 2 days, 3 days. Um, that was the only thing for me. I just said that was my outline to when I was speaking to Dean. I was like, look, I want to repay the club back. We deserve to get out of this league. It wasn't to be this year, but I think we've got a good crack at it next year, and I'd like to be part of getting the club out of the league.
Did you expect the squad to change as much as it did? You've gone from a side who missed out on the title to the final day on the final day to maybe what, four, five potentially of that
Yeah.
side remaining.
Um, did I expect them much change? No. But what I've realised in my 2 years in non-league,
That's non-league football, isn't it?
yeah, like I said to the lads, I've not been used to so many hello and byes.
Yeah.
I think last year I'd done about 28 goodbyes in the group chat. And I said to the lads, I've been used to being at clubs for people for 4 or 5 years at a time. So for me, this turnover is quite unnatural,
Yeah.
but you've got to get used to it. Like football changes, times change, and you just have to move with the times. And um, you can't dwell on something that you can't affect. So for me, it was you have to relish meeting new people, and end of the day, like you say, you can't change the hand that you're given. So when new players come in, you welcome them, you greet them as soon as possible, make them feel welcome as soon as possible, and yeah, you just crack on.
Yeah, and obviously Adam brought in a number of players from who played in the south. It was a lot of new faces just generally. It took a while, didn't it, just to get going. I remember Riley said that amongst that slow start, there was concerns that certainly he felt it because he wasn't getting much game time in those first 10, 12 games or so, that he felt there was a bit of division in the camp. There's a few clicks here and there, and that there wasn't the unity that he was hoping for.
Um, I think it was just a mix of what I would say is young lads living away from home who found it very tough to adapt, that weren't performing on the pitch and found it hard to adapt to being away from home. And to when you're unhappy off the pitch, it's hard to replicate it on it. We
Mm.
didn't have a great start to the season. So listen, I don't know the boys' circumstances, but um, from several chats with some of them, they did find it very difficult. And I think as well, when you are coming from a team where you've done really well, you expect, I think personally, to replicate that form.
Yeah,
And listen, it doesn't always happen at clubs, does it? Um, but also as well, when you bring 13 new faces into a club, it's going to take time to
yeah,
adapt. People are still sussing each other out. People have got different contrasting personalities. And relatively, we had quite a young group still, even
yeah.
then. Um, but at the same time, it was, like you say, down to us to obviously change that. And I think it was a big wake-up call those first probably 2 months in terms of, yeah, we're a big club, but we have to, like you say, earn the right to play.
Mm. When did you feel it started to click? For me, I've kind of written down Chester away. I think it was Riley's
Yeah, yeah,
first
yeah,
start. PK had come in. I think it took him about 20 minutes to learn how to control the ball from
yeah, yeah, yeah,
in
yeah,
that game as
yeah.
well. But I mean, what a player he turned out to be for us. It felt like that was the game where everything started to turn for us.
Yeah, that was a massive game. I think, I think it was just a back to basics performance. And I think it was one of those where we showed a different tool in our box. I think at the time we were trying to play a lot of football, a lot of high press football. Um, but a big question mark over us was, can we go and show a different side to us? And I think that day we did, probably should have come away with 3 points.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it was a great, well earned hard point. And we took a lot of positives from that. And I think it instilled a lot of belief in each other that we've got each other's backs, and we could go into the trenches with each other. And I think after that game, that might have been the first of our
It was a good
10 plus
run.
game.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah, it
good
was a
run
good
after that,
good
wasn't
run.
it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Um,
Stuart Watkins came in at that point as well, didn't he?
yeah, he did, yeah, and he was massive for us, I think he just brought a different voice and a different calm presence. I enjoyed him because he was old school,
Yeah.
and I hadn't had no one that was old school for a while. So for me, he was exactly what we probably needed at that point, as a group and as a squad.
Yeah. So you go on this run. I just wonder how different did it feel going on a run with that side from the season just gone compared to when you were on that great run under Phil Brown's side? Were there many comparisons? Any similarities?
I wouldn't say I wouldn't say it was comparable.
Yeah.
What I will say about the group that we had last year, we had a togetherness that was just different. Can't describe it. Probably not one I haven't had in football. The banter we had with each other, the how much we had each other's back on the pitch. We just clicked as a group, and I think the contrasting personalities that we had were all very similar, even though they were quite different. But it just worked, and I think it got to a point where, especially some of us older lads, we made the younger lads believe that they were as good as they hoped they could be.
Yeah.
And I think it's just about instilling belief and instilling confidence in these boys that they haven't hit a roadblock, but they're probably in um, a place where they've probably lost a little bit of belief, probably been at academies and whatnot, and have dropped down. They just need that belief that they're good players.
Yeah.
And I think we instilled that in them.
Yeah. How much did you feel like that was your role to a degree? Because I mean, before that Chester game, it had got pretty toxic, hadn't it?
Yeah, I think so. And I think for me, I said to the boys this year, I said like I've not I've enjoyed no, sorry, I've not. I've enjoyed seeing them flourish, and that gives life to me.
Yeah.
That's why as well, like I said before, I feel like I'm young in my body and mind because they gave that to me. And being able to give my experiences to them. And listen, I haven't always got the answers, but in a lot of the scenarios, I've tried to help them, whether it be the way they lead, the way they portray themselves, the way they conduct
Mm.
themselves, just little things like that. And I feel like they've taken that on board and taken little nuggets and added it to themselves. And that gives me joy. And I think it's fulfilling to know that my experiences, what I would have done in certain situations, can help them and it furthers their own career. So that was a
Mm.
massive thing for me last year. It was, right, how can I help on the pitch, but also how can I help it off it?
Yeah, because Riley started to fly, didn't he? After
Yeah.
that, he was just in untouchable form, and he told me that he sort of singled you out really as the biggest, maybe apart from the manager, as the biggest influence on him on what he did that season. So how good is that to hear?
Yeah, massive. And I think it's testament to those guys though as well, because yeah, I can give them information to them
They don't
or
have
I
to
can
listen, do
give them
they?
help.
Yeah.
They have to be receptive. And sometimes you'll come across a lot of players that aren't receptive and think they know everything. But also, I think I was probably the same, probably at 18, 19 sometimes. I was willing to learn, but also I thought I had the answers. And you have to go through tough times to realize that it's a long career ahead and you don't know everything.
Mm.
But to see someone like Riley flourish the way he did was unbelievable because you'd seen him the year before and you knew he was a really good player. So in my mind, without being disrespectful, I felt like he could have played in League Two or the National League.
Yeah.
End of the day, you got to get someone to take a chance on you. But at the same time, you've seen the form that he was in last year, you've seen his ability. And I think that he last year was probably a good thing him coming back. Number one for the atmosphere and him being around the boys, but also he was able to probably see his ability for what it is. Sky's the limit for him if he wants
Yeah.
to. And I think he's got his head screwed on. And I think with the right guidance, he'll play at a very, very, very high level.
Yeah. Lone players can be hit and miss, can't they? We saw when Hemo returned, some might see it as a disappointment because he didn't
Yeah.
score. Others will say he was influential. I mean, that South Shields game away was his first game back, I think, where he was really
Yeah.
impressive then. Charlie Cooper, when it was announced that he was signed, I know there was a lot of negativity on socials, basically because
Yeah.
Hereford fans had slated him, basically. So we were like, oh my word, what have we got here? And
Yeah.
he dispelled that straight away. How valuable was he to the side?
Massive, massive. It was massive for me as well because like I had another older head in the building. I knew him before from Birmingham as well. He was a young lad when I was there. Um, but it just shows never judge a book by its cover. But also, I think what people don't realize is sometimes when you go to clubs, it doesn't always happen for you.
Yeah.
Whether it be the dressing room, whether it be the club, the timing. Sometimes things just don't work out. And listen, you can't please everyone. And I think he played 6 or 7 games for them, and if he wasn't fit or if he wasn't in form or he wasn't in the right environment, you're never going to flourish. So those 6, 7 games, people can make their own opinion of him, but he came in the door, and it was nothing but a pleasure to play with and have in the building. And you saw from his performances, he was massive and imperative to what we achieved in the
Mm.
end. Like you say, especially his goals.
Yeah.
He only scored rockets, didn't
I was
he?
going to say he's got a couple of worldies in his locker, didn't
Yeah,
he?
he only scored worldies. But you look at the Telford game and um, the game where he's hit one out from 40 yards.
Chester,
Like
wasn't it?
for yeah, yeah. Like he produced massive moments for us, but also the solidity that he brought as well and the calmness. So yeah, he was an unbelievable addition for us.
So we're going well. There was a couple of blips. There was Macclesfield away, which I don't think you played in because of the pitch, did you? I think because of
Yeah,
the 3G there. We had that loss at Chorley, which was frustrating, and then we were at Radcliffe, and Dibbs comes out, knocks himself out, knocks Joe Folks out.
yeah.
Two massive, massive players. What are you thinking at that point? I know I got messages on WhatsApp basically saying when they'd seen Dibble on the floor knocked out, season's over. As a player at that point, what are you thinking?
Obviously, when that happens, it's like well, you're missing probably the best right back in the league and the best goal in the league. Um, but that's where you're looking for your squad to step in. Obviously, Palms weren't quite fully fit, so we had to get a goalie in and re-stepped him when he needed to. Um, and obviously, we had a multiple of people stepping up right back.
Yeah.
Josh Robinson ends up coming in and ends up being unbelievable and a rock. So we can't go and notice what he did and
Yeah.
how he stepped in. Different player to Joe.
Yeah.
Also, probably added a different dimension to us as well, going forward and defending. Um, but when something like that happens, yeah, you're like, well, what now? But also you're thinking, all right, who's ready to step up? Because we were a competitive squad anyway. But I felt like we had the togetherness that whoever came in, the lads would back them, and the players that came in knew that the lads would back them. So yeah, it weren't too worrying, but also you're worrying in terms of the lads' health
Yeah.
and fitness first and foremost. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So obviously, as you said, that the guys come in. There's a defeated Oxford City. There's a defeated
Yeah.
Spennymoor, and you have all that compounded with the Dibs and folks missing as well.
Yeah.
Fans are getting worried. We're thinking, oh no, because all eyes were on that third place, weren't they? If we can get the third
Yeah, yeah.
place, we've got the home semi-final. But that rot stops at home to Hereford, so we're set for a point, which would have stopped the rot to a degree. But we really needed a win. Step yourself in the 98th minute or whatever it
Yeah.
was. And what happened after that?
For euphoria, and I think that's another big thing for me as well, like those moments, and I think it showed within the squad we had. I think probably a couple of games before that, or probably 2 months before that, that doesn't go in,
Yeah.
whether it be deflection or not. Like we just had that. There was plenty of games where probably like Merthyr you look at
Mm.
that we drew at home, and there was many games that we just couldn't find that final rub of the green or that bit of luck that we needed. And it just felt like, listen, you have to create your own luck in football. And I think that was a massive win for us. But also on the back of that, we had, it wasn't like a crisis meeting, but it was a bit of a home truths after spending more. Like we'd been on a run where it just weren't good enough. You have to look at each other and think to yourself, it's not just going to happen, you know.
Yeah.
Um, and also as well, we're here to do a job. Yes, we're mates off the pitch, but in 3 or 4 years' time, a lot of us won't be. We'll be passing ships. So let's
Yeah.
go and achieve something together so we remember each other even more. Do you know what I mean? Little bits of information that ring true. Um, so yeah, those moments are needed as well because it's a bit like brings you back down to earth a little bit, especially
Yeah.
those defeats at Spennymoor. But also teaches you something about your own character yourself. There's going to be plenty more games like that. So can you deal with it, or are you just going to fold and be the same in those scenarios? So yeah, that goal against Hereford, I think it just instilled that uh, belief that we are a really good side and we've
Yeah.
got that never say die attitude.
Yeah, I remember in one of the WhatsApp chats, I think I said that could be the most important goal of the season
Yeah,
at that point. I mean, it felt massive at the time. Your
yeah,
reaction and your celebration to it signaled how significant it was, and it started a run of 6 wins in a row, which meant we secured third place. I remember
yeah,
the playoff semi against Macclesfield walking into Agborough, and I didn't have any concern at all. I felt like this was a formality.
Yeah, I think the Macclesfield game. I think the Southfields game was a big one for us
Yeah,
because we had an inkling that right, if we get third place, we could get them in the final.
yeah,
We could potential to play them. So we've already beaten once. We beat them again. That's a punch in the face. Have they got the? Can we play mind games? But it's like psychologically we're in their heads a little bit.
yeah,
So we end up beating them. And I think going into that Macclesfield game, you just beat one of the teams they haven't took the foot off the gas all season. But
yeah,
also going to that Macclesfield game, the last time we played them, they slapped us.
yeah.
I weren't part of that, but listen, I'm part of the team, so I felt that I travelled to the game, I watched the game, so I felt it as much as the lads. So you want to rectify it a little bit, and also I think it helps when their captain goes before the game. I'm going to bully your midfield, so you're like, all right then, we'll
It
see,
was
mate.
it was fun watching you that game. I know
Uh,
you. I think you did the pre-match media, didn't you, as well, saying
yeah,
you love big games.
yeah,
You kind of
yeah.
you got the butterflies and things. And Adam Murray had said that he didn't even need to do a pre-match team talk because you'd done it for him basically. So what did you said in that dressing room?
I just said what it was natural, really. I just said, look, lads, I ain't been part of a dressing room that's ever been like this, like in my life, and I promise you, hands down, like I love coming into work every day and seeing you boys and the love that we have for each other, the banter we have. Like I come in every day smiling, and it's because of you boys. Um, just believe in themselves, and we haven't come this far just to waste this opportunity. Let's go and show everyone why we are the best team in this league. No one can live with us. Tactically, technically, we're far better than these. Let's go and show them. And we owe them one. There's a few more things that I can't really say that I said. But yeah, Gaffer, I was expecting Gaffer to just say his piece and he went, come on, let's go. And I think apparently it got him a little bit emotional, but it was
Yeah.
from the heart and I meant every word. Yeah, like I've said it many times, that group was special and that made me enjoy coming to work. And I think especially when you have a group like that, it's rare where everyone gets on and we're all pulling in the same
Mhm.
direction. Listen, it took us 8 months to get there,
Yeah.
but nothing isn't built overnight, is it? Everything's a work in progress, and I think it made it that much more sweeter. Getting promoted, looking back at the August, September, October to where we finished.
Yeah. And then obviously South Shields away for the playoff final. Were you just as confident? Because that's probably when the little bit of the nerves kind of got me driving up for that game.
Nah, I know it. I know it. Um, I don't know if I've got it here. So I made a Spotify playlist for the playoff final. Let me see if I can see when I actually made it. No, it doesn't tell you when I actually made it. But I made it I think it was 5 days before, just knowing we'd win. Listen, it's easy to say that in hindsight, but like I've said, it just felt different. And I think because we'd beat them twice, South Shields haven't got an answer. Listen, they're going to play great football, they're going to have chances, but if you can nullify that as much as you can and hit them on the counter and be physical with them, they haven't got a different way of playing. They haven't got a different type of nine. They've got two nines that are very similar in Scott and Blackett. So we're never going to play longer ball. I think if you force them into that longer ball, physically we would dominate them.
Yeah.
Listen, KD gets us off to. Obviously they start fast and whatever, and I think they didn't plenty of the other games we played against them. But KD gets you that goal and just settles the nerves a little bit, and
And
then
how high did he jump? I don't think I've seen anybody apart from
oh mate,
Ronaldo
I've
jump
never
that
seen
high.
someone jump that way. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? But I'm not surprised with someone like him, mate. He's he's a live wire, mate. The first day he came and he bounced in the building, I was like, who's this geezer? And then you get to notice his personality a little bit, and you're like, yeah, but that's exactly what we needed. We needed a live wire. We needed someone with a bit of ADHD who, do you know what I mean? Who can't sit still, who's like a little pit bull.
Yeah.
So yeah, for us, him putting us a goal, listen, I knew it was different.
Yeah, I sort of wrote down. I've said this to a few people. For you that season, there were two moments which sort of sum up the season for me. The goal against Hereford and the tackle
Yeah,
that set up the second goal. I thought that could not have been more perfectly timed. I thought if you were going to have two moments that were going to sum up
yeah,
your campaign for us, apart from lifting the trophy at the end,
yeah, yeah.
it were those two. I mean, I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
I think that was a big thing for me this year as well. Like, listen, my game's always been about snuffing things out, but the way I operated last year was a lot higher. At times, sometimes I played in the 10, but listen, I was never going to be a creative 10,
Yeah.
but it was more to disrupt people higher because we have pace, we have power, we have people to go and nick goals and get and break teams down higher up. Um, and as soon as I saw him dwindle on the ball there, I was like, yeah, that's a bit of me that. And it sounds bad, but that's like a goal for me.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think we all think to a man as well that day, like you could see it towards the end, everyone's like running out of energy, but then you find some energy from
Mm.
somewhere else. And I think you you're nervy. I think when it got to about 86 minutes, I was like, yeah, we're sound. Because listen, anything can happen in football.
Yeah.
Um, but at the same time, it's like it just showed that grit and determination. Listen, you've got to ride your luck at times. Um, I think it, I think the togetherness showed as well. Like Hawley came on and he made that first minute. I think he made a mistake, and I just went up to him and said, "Listen, it's gone, mate. Like, let's go." Do you know what I mean? You give him that reassurance, and I
Yeah.
think we had that as a group. Anyone that came in, like, listen, we're human. We all make mistakes.
Yeah.
It's not like anyone means it, but at the same time, it's like that player needs help. He's a young lad, so those experiences there. How can I calm him down in that moment? And I think after the game, he said like thanks and whatnot. Listen, I don't expect a thanks. At the same time, him being able to perform unbelievable for that 45 minutes, um, for me is all I need. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
That's all the thanks I need.
Yeah. Someone who doesn't need a talking to is Christian Dibble, who was sensational in that
Oh mate,
in that second
unbelievable.
half. I mean, talk about how good a goalkeeper he is, because
Yeah.
he's a massive loss for this season going forward. I think everybody kind of knew that he was going to make a move closer to home,
Yeah.
but you don't know what you've got till it's gone to a degree. But I think we all knew what we had when he was with us.
Yeah, and I kept saying to him after the Redcliffe game, I think when he was back in 2, 3 weeks later, I was like, when you back, mate? He was like, I'm not sure with the protocols and stuff like that. I said, yeah, but all right, mate, but when you're back, and I think he was not all right to play. I think he could have played some minutes in the. Did he play in the South Shields
He
game?
played, yeah, he came back for that South Shields game, the first one, yeah.
The first year he did, that was it. So that was his first game back. Um, and I think that was just like, yeah, we're ready to go into the playoffs now. Listen, Reece, love it, done unbelievable. But what Dibbs did that year, some of the saves he pulled off, the presence he brought, the calmness he brought, and especially as a defensive unit, I think a big thing for me is consistency within that back line.
Yeah.
I think you need as many people that are familiar with each other, that see the game, that know the club, that know each other. You need that consistency with that kind of player. So yeah, he was massive for us.
Are you surprised he's not playing higher?
Yes, but football is a game of opinions, and I've said this to so many players. And listen, you need someone to take a chance on you and have that belief in you. So it's easy for me to sit there and say, listen, he's good enough, he's good enough. Because there's probably a lot of players over there that I've been like, yeah, he's unbelievable, he's a great player, but he's not been a manager's cup of tea. Um, but yeah, in a nutshell, I am surprised, mate. But it's everyone's. Listen, he might have had opportunities to go higher. We don't know that.
Yeah.
Um, for all we know, he might just be happy being happy. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And is he allergic to grass? Because
Yes.
he is. See, I did
Yeah.
not know
He's
this, right?
constantly scratching
Yeah,
himself,
yeah.
mate. I've never known a goalie allergic to grass.
Well,
You
he's
know what
gone
I
to
mean?
side he play on 3G now, so he'll be all right when he.
Exactly. So he might have. he might be sound on there, might have a few less allergic reactions.
Talk to me about the final whistle then at South Shields. What did it mean to you to go up and secure that promotion, given the career that you've had and the levels that you've played at? What did it
Yeah.
mean?
Uh, it's probably up there with probably the best achievement, one of the best achievements I've had in football. I've stayed up on last days. I've won promotion to the championship. Um, yeah, it didn't feel real for the first hour. It was just a bit like because it's very surreal, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think like people rushing on the pitch and you don't really see that much. I think when we got back to Agbra, that's when it felt
yeah,
real
and that was a
and
long journey, I imagine as well.
long journey. But that's what I love about the lower level clubs. You get that exposure. So usually, like you probably know, at the higher level clubs, players won't be able to interact with the fans, and
Yeah,
it'd be probably less cut off. You won't be able to go back to a stadium and have drinks with the fans and party with the fans,
yeah.
essentially. And
Well, they're shepherded in and shepherded out, aren't they, from
yeah,
matches
yeah,
and things
yeah.
like that?
Do you
Yeah,
know what I mean? So for me, getting back to Agba and seeing that, I was like, yeah, this is proper. This is what you kind of want because you want that interact. You want to when you have success with a club, you want to the fans are at the forefront. So you want to celebrate with them properly. Yeah, you want to party well into the night and whatnot, but the fans home and away all year. Do you know what I mean?
mm,
So they deserve that success as every much bit as we do.
mm.
So you should be able to share it. Listen, I get it with the higher profile players and whatnot, but there should be some sort of, I don't know, you get back to the stadium, you have, I don't know, even if it's an hour, half an hour, whatever,
Yeah.
you should get that celebration together.
Yeah, I know a few people who couldn't go up to South Shields, don't live near Kidderminster at all, but they drove an hour and a half,
Yeah,
2 hours to be, to be there for when the bus arrived and to join their celebrations as well. I think that, as you say, it's a mark of a club at that level that you get that. As much
yeah,
as
yeah.
fans love their love their Premier League sides and they'll love their club as much as we love Harriers, they're not going to get what we get.
Yeah, and I think that was that big thing for us. And I think getting back there, you see the joy that it brought everyone. Um, and that celebration of getting the club back into the National League, it makes those 10 and a half months worth it. Um, but like you say, it's not quickly forgotten about. It's like, right, we're in the National League now.
Mm.
How do we go again? Do you know what I mean? How do we bring more joy to the club?
Yeah, and you've got to go again without Adam Murray. I mean, was there any inklings on him going, or is that as just as big a
Nah,
surprise?
again, another shock, and probably because I was pissed for 2.5 days. Um, but I think the Tuesday I got wind of it. I was like, nah, I must be still drunk here.
Yeah,
And then on the Wednesday, he was gone, yeah. And I was like, now what's happening here?
yeah.
Um,
Did he speak to you? Did he explain his reasons? Have you had any sort of contact with him about
yeah,
why?
I spoke to him a day after it had happened, and listened, spoke to him in depth for quite a while, which obviously I can't really go into.
Well,
But
I mean, I've spoken to him on Instagram, and we because I do Hereford and Worcester commentaries now and again, so I've chatted to him a
yeah,
few times, and he's kind of explained his reasons, which I think he's spoken about in a Barrow interview, basically kind of saying his ambition doesn't. I think to kind of sum it all up, his ambition is probably higher than what the club are able to offer him. I kind of think that's how I would sum it up.
yeah. Listen, he's an ambitious manager. I think his style of play also, I said to him this many times, I think he will go on to manage in the Championship or Premier League.
Yeah,
And some of his ideas that he wants to execute, he probably needs championship level players in order to be a real success at the way he wants to play
yeah,
football. But also as well, you have to earn your stripes. So as a manager, he's got to go and do his managerial rounds and earn his reputation. Um, but obviously, he has his vision for the way he wants his career to pan out, and it obviously didn't align with the club. So I think obviously they parted ways.
yeah. And then Paul Watton comes in about 10 days
Yeah.
or so later. How has it been under him? Early stages.
Yeah, really good, man. Really good. It's been a bit of like an athletics club. He's got us working, but like I said at the start of the podcast, I've never been as fit as I probably am at the minute. So I'm really, really enjoying it. I'm enjoying the way he wants to us to play him and press at the minute. And I think we've seen it certainly probably more in the Hal Owen game, especially towards the latter stages, getting balls in the box, the patterns of play we want to do, switching the play, coming inside,
Mm.
overlaps. So yeah, things are looking really well at the minute. So I'm excited for the game on Saturday against Stratford.
Mm.
Then we got Alvechurch and then Stourbridge, and obviously we've got a big one against Hornchurch, first game of the season.
Yeah. Yeah, the reaction when the Hornchurch came out as the first game. At least it's in August, and it's the weather will be decent. At least I think that's the only saving grace for that opening day.
Yeah, to be honest, mate, we listen. Everyone wants a big club. It's not to say that there's no disrespect to Hornchurch, but at the same time, they're a club who's just come up as well, so they've got their own ambition. So for us, it would be good to lay a glove on them and really make a statement that yeah, we're here not to mess about. So
Yeah,
for us, it'd be a good test, but also like you said, like I've just touched on, they'll be eager to impress as well. So we've just got to match that, and like you say, we're going to play every team in the league at least twice.
yeah. Who are the new arrivals? Do you think will stand out? I think Ben Crompton has got a few
Yeah,
positive headlines. I think Max Brogan has impressed as well. There seems to be quite a lot of sort of entertaining players arriving.
yeah, yeah. Everyone's done really well so far, and I think everyone's bought into the way that we want to play and we want the standards that we expect. Some good players, Ollie Tipton, Kian Harris, Ben Crompton, Max Brownie coming back's massive. Obviously, I'm very familiar with Brownie and the way he plays, and there was times where it was just me and him in the middle towards that back end of that first season, and I felt like we managed to dominate many midfields together.
Yeah,
So we've got that relationship and that partnership, and um, but yeah, everyone's brought a different dimension to, and also as well, and like a new lease of life. We've got a lot of young players at the minute, great ability that just need that like that belief and that confidence, and I think that we as a club can bring that for them.
yeah. I'll ask you about a sort of a final message for the fans in a moment. I just wanted to speak to you as well about Jude Bellingham. I know it's a bit of a
Yeah.
tangent completely. Obviously, he came through while you were still at Blues, didn't he? Is that right?
Yeah, yeah, we played the his first and final season together.
Yeah. Um, just what is it like? Just having been there from the first time he kicked the ball in the first
Yeah.
team to seeing him be arguably, one of the best players in the world, driving England's World Cup campaign and just doing what he's doing. That goal against France probably summed up everything he'd done for the England team throughout that tournament, hadn't he? So from your point of view, what is it like, or how different is it watching an England game when you know the star man so well?
Frustrating because I think, especially listen, we saw that journalist speak about him when he doesn't really know him, and I think, listen, we all need a scapegoat as a country sometimes, which I don't think is a great thing.
Yeah.
Um, but and we've seen it at 16, his mentality, his character, the way he portrays himself, he's untouchable. The way he carries himself and the way he thinks, and he mentally, like, I've not seen many like it.
Yeah.
At 16, 17, he had the maturity of a 30-year-old, like he played 300 games. Like that year as well, when I think we drew 4-4 against Leeds, and that was Marco Bielsa's Leeds that were prolific in the
Yeah.
championship that
Yeah.
season. He was the best player on the pitch, and they had Calvin Phillips, a lot of their mainstay players. And he was just, yeah, standout. Did I think he'd probably get to the levels he has so quickly? Probably not. But his mum and dad knew the pathway, and it was all written out. And listen, all he had to do was execute it. But because of his mentality and his belief in himself, and sometimes it can get mixed up for arrogance,
Yeah, I was
but
going to
it's
say
not.
that.
It's you have to have a self-assurance. When you are that good, you have to have a the best players in the world have a self-assurance. It's just sometimes, listen, we especially with England, there's always something, whether it's Jude or not, it's
Yeah.
someone. But to handle that pressure the way he did and deliver, not many people can do that.
Mm.
And that just shows the mental capacity he's got and the mental stability that he's got. Do you know what I mean? His mentality is just different to everyone else's, and he's only going to get better.
Yeah.
But also, I think I've said it before. I wish that people were able to get to know players on a proper level. Listen, I know they are blanketed a little bit by PR teams and
Yeah.
whatnot. But if you were to get to know him the way we did in that year, and even before that, listen, he used to come in as a schoolboy, you'd know that. I don't think I ever listen. We were always saying to him as well, like that's another million added onto you, and he'd just laugh it off. Like
Yeah.
he would never be like, oh yeah, yeah, this and that. He was just a normal kid, mate, who loved working hard and just being the best he could be.
Mm.
So yeah, I'm not surprised, mate.
Yeah. He's still in contact.
Yeah, I speak to him every now and again. To be fair, it's hard to get a reply sometimes. Listen, he's a busy man in it, but I always check in on him now and again, and yeah, it's good to talk to him every now and again. But also as well, I don't like badgering people,
Yeah, of
so
course. Of course.
at the same time, I just want him to flourish and enjoy his own career. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
he's playing at the highest level possible at the minute, and deserves all the plaudits he gets.
Yeah. Do you think he might fancy a final season of his career at Agborough? It's just down the
You
road.
never know,
It's
I
close to
think
home.
he's not obviously where's he from? Stourbridge, Bromsgrove way.
Yeah.
I don't think his dad's a legend at Bromsgrove as well, so it's not too far down the road.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I think let's have a see in 10, 15 years time, and
We'll see. Finally, then, David, your message to the fans this coming season, because the fans probably this campaign are going to be needed probably more than recent years, aren't they? Because it's going to be a tough one this coming season.
yeah, massively. I think, listen, it's going to be a tough season. There's going to be good times. There's going to be bad times, but stick with us all the way through. One thing you'll get from us this year is we're going to wear our hearts on our sleeves, and we're going to give everything for the club. There's, like I said, there's going to be good times where things are going really well, and it's like you say, it's easy to get behind the boys then. But when things are going tough and we're not getting the rub of the green, and we haven't won for so many games, or it's been quite frustrating. As much as it's frustrating, just stick with the boys, and trust me, we'll repay you tenfold. But I'm looking forward to the challenge ahead, and I think I've made it well known I love a challenge. So I think the fans will see that within the squad, and I think what we will give the fans this year is they'll leave every game knowing that we gave everything, and we'll at least try that anyway. So yeah, stick with us and be nice and loud, and try and come and support us as much as you can through the good and the bad.
That is the perfect way to finish. Thank you.
No problem, mate.